Hi everyone, Tony from Uizard here. Today is a very special day here at Uizard because we are officially starting to send out invites to try out Autodesigner. So if you've signed up to the waitlist, now is the time where you're going to receive your invites either today or in the next few days or weeks. And so as you remember, Autodesigner is basically ChatGPT for UI design. You can type out your crazy idea in plain English, and then Uizard Autodesigner will basically spit out 5-6 screens pre-designed for you to start from. For those of you that are new here, what is Uizard? Uizard, pronounced wizard but spelled with a U.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Is an easy-to-use design tool powered by AI. Our mission is really to make design accessible to everyone, regardless of whether you have a design background or a technical experience. The goal is to enable more people to take an active part in design processes inside of their work and organization. And we strongly believe that Autodesigner is the next step even further than what we already have built to really truly make this mission statement shine and make design even more accessible than it used to be. So today I'll show you what is Autodesigner and what can it do. I'll also show you what are the other magical AI features that are already available inside of Uizard, and I will ultimately show you an end-to-end journey on how you can generate something with Autodesigner and then customize and extend it with all the other amazing things inside of Uizard. So with no further ado, let's get to it. Now we are inside of Uizard, and we're going to go ahead and click Generated with Autodesigner, and then we can select the device we want to design for. So mobile, tablet, web. Web is the right device to select if you want to design a website, landing page, a desktop application, a SaaS platform, you name it. And then we can actually describe our project in plain English. So let's say a landing page for second-hand marketplace for selling and buying vintage musical instrument that sound bad. And the second prompt is for describing our style. So the first one is like the project ID, like what it is that you want to generate. And the second one is like, what is the style you want this project to have? So think of it as like the theme of your app or website, or the aesthetic that you want to go after. So here it could be dark mode, tones of blue, for example, elegant. You can also just pick like some of the keywords here if you're out of ID. Otherwise, you can just describe it in here in the prompt. And now we're gonna hit generate and wait for the work to be done by AI. So why did we build this? Well, we've noticed so many of our customers and ourselves, whenever we are using tools like Uizard, we are all suffering from what I like to call the blank page syndrome. We all have ideas inside of our head, and it's sometimes very painful to look at a blank screen and know where to start and how to start. So the goal of Autodesigner is to inspire you and give you something that's better than the blank screen to start from. And there we go. Now we have our website being generated right here.
Wow!
And we can zoom in, and we can actually go ahead and modify things. So what's the name of this project? BadTunes. So BadTunes is our marketplace for bad-sounding musical instruments. And so once you've been here, you are basically left within the Uizard tool as you know it. Autodesigner is really just like one layer on top, enabling you to just create something, and now you benefit from all the magic that Uizard has to make this customization basically easy. So you can pick any component, any button, any element, and change the colors or the text. So for example, here we could use the text assistant to generate like an alternative copy for that specific body of text. So we can just pick this one, let's say. And this is actually a fully AI generated illustration. So sometime Autodesigner will fill the gap, fill the places where a visual element should be with an image coming from like a database of images. Sometime it will generate images illustration directly. So this is also like, for example, illustration that was entirely generated by Autodesigner. And let's see if we have something else. Yeah, here, for example, these are stock imagery that was used instead. So this is basically what we got from Autodesigner, and we can, as I said, change absolutely anything we want here. So we might actually also want to, as I showed you before, you can actually generate alternative text with the text assistant, and you can do the same with images. So this is an illustration that was generated by Autodesigner. Maybe we don't quite like this one and we want to just get a stock imagery instead, and that's it. One click, we got like something related to music, and we don't need to just modify anything. We're gonna do the same here. I click suggest. I don't think this was meant to be a camera. It looks like a turntable, but let's just say turntable. There we go, we got our turntable. So yeah, very quickly you can actually just, get what you want. So let's take a look at some of the other screens that were generated for us. So you can see like a bunch of different screens. And so if you go into the interact mode here, you can see that Autodesigner already started to create some links between the screens. And that's basically links that you can experience if you are going to the preview mode. So if you go in preview, you can actually, use these buttons to kind of like navigate through the app as if it was a real app. In this case, it's like it's a fake prototype, but we have something that can be tested by a human being and yourself as a designer to see whether or not this is a good user experience and whether or not this is the right kind of like user flow for your project. So let's close this, and I'm going to show you something else. Because the magic of Uizard doesn't stop here, right? As you know, if you've been using Uizard before Autodesigner, there are a lot of different tools here you can use to make your life easier as you are designing a new project. So for example, you can actually turn everything into a wireframe. So we can make everything look as if it was kind of like a rough wireframe mockup. And that's extremely useful if what you want to do for a specific project is really just focus on the information hierarchy and not focus so much on the visuals, the colors, and so on. You can turn on wireframe mode, do all the tweaks you want, and then turn it off again once you're ready to go into the colors, the imagery, and the illustration of your project. But something that a lot of people find extremely cool to start from is scan screenshot. So we're building something related to music here. So let's go ahead and go find what I biased to believe is the best music streaming platform out there. But don't trust my word. This is really just my opinion. I can take a screenshot of the Spotify app here, for example, and I can tell Uizard, hey, I want to make a new screen from this screenshot. So you can either start from magic screenshot, scan screenshot, or here, new screen, start screen from screenshot is the same thing. And then here you can actually just upload your screenshot. And get started from that. So what the scan screenshot feature does is basically it will basically turn your image, your screenshot, your flat, non-changeable image into something you can fully customize and edit. So now we can see like that it has been turned into a design. So now I can actually just have access to all the imagery and I can modify absolutely everything. So here, for example, once again, I can use the image suggester to just change the images. I can use the text assistant to change the copy. And that's a really useful features that our customers love whenever they already have a product, they already have a website, and all they want to do is to see how would this look if we just move the buttons, on the other side of the screen, or how would this look if we just change the imagery or change the colors of the buttons. So instead of having to redesign that page, you can just import the screenshot into Uizard and then basically get something you can customize and edit like in a few seconds, which we think is pretty cool. And you can also do it, this is like a fairly small screenshot, but you can also do it like for a full web page. So if I go into the Uizard website, which is quite a long page, I could do the same thing. I could say new screen from a screenshot, and then I can import a screenshot of the entire web page, this long screenshot here, import it into Uizard, go grab a cup of coffee, and then when I get back to my workstation, I basically have this entire screenshot ready to customize, ready to edit, and ultimately ready to share with my team, so we can actually just build that next version or whatever we are trying to achieve. So we'll wait a few seconds. Elevator music time.
A few moments later.
And there we go. Now we have, as before with the Spotify example, we have all the images, all the text that we can then edit and change to our liking. And actually I'll scroll down once we've generated an alternative text here. There we go. I can tweak the sizing. Maybe I want this button to be blue, and I can actually just go ahead and copy and paste the style, style, and paste it here to this new button. And for example, that's a few tweaks I could do, and it took me like a few seconds to do this, and I can then go ahead and share this with my team, and it's done. No need to just spend hours redesigning everything from scratch. And we got, as you can see, we got basically the entire page laid out for us. So that's basically how you could start from Autodesigner to create a few screens, and then you could use all the magic features inside of Uizard to customize things to your liking. Now let's do the same thing, but we are going to generate a mobile app instead. So let's say we want to generate a mobile app for delivering food in space to feed astronauts in the space station and Mars base, assuming we'll already have a Mars base, which would be pretty cool. And then the style would be minimalistic, clean, futuristic. Yeah, I guess that'll do. As before, I click the generate my project button, and I can go get a cup of a glass of water and listen to some more elevated music.
A few moments later.
All right, so we got our mobile app for delivering food in space being generated. So let's see what came out of this. Space food. So we've got illustration being generated for us. We got some imagery taken from like a photo database. Astro Grill. That's a cool name. Space pancakes. I like it. And the app is basically being called Space Food. And as before with our website example, I can go ahead and modify absolutely everything with all the existing feature in Uizard. And as before, if I go in the preview mode, I'll basically be able to interact with a mock flow of this app as if it was, implemented for real, even though it's like, it's a fake mock-up, it's a prototype. And of course, I can change this flow completely, right? So to change the flow is pretty easy. You can actually just click on any button, find the little bolt, and then just change. This is actually a bad example because I'm linking it to the same screen. But for example, the order now, if for some reason we want the order now to link to this screen, then we can do this. And then I can just say right-click on my screen and say, this is my home screen. And so you'll see when I click the order now in preview now, I will go to the home screen. So yeah, that's what you can do if you want to create an interaction flow in Uizard. And you can, of course, once you select a component that has an interaction, you can also change the type. You can make this link to a link on the internet. You can also go to another screen as I showed and set up the animation. I want like slide left, for example, and I want it fast. And then you can just hit preview again and see how that looks. Now, I would like to show you some other cool features that are making design a breeze inside of Uizard. So as before, you can always go turn a wireframe mode. And by the way, actually wireframe mode also works when you're in preview. So if you set things into wireframe mode and you go in preview, it will be previewed in wireframe mode. So this is really helpful if you want to do some testing with a group of users that should only focus on the information hierarchy, the structure of the content, and then you can move back to out of wireframe mode when you want to test the full design with some folks. And before I go further, in the share button here, you can invite your team or share online. You can actually even embed this on a web page, and anybody you invite here to collaborate inside of Uizard will be able to work with you in real time inside of the editor. So this is not meant to be a solo designer work. You can always invite your team, whether it's like the PM, a developer, the actual design team, anyone, your client, and collaborate here together. So now we've made a pretty, compelling, rough prototype mock-up of our space food delivery app. Delivery time, 45 minutes delivery to the space station. That would be amazing. I don't know what kind of technology is used for transport here, but I think Elon Musk would probably want to purchase this startup for SpaceX.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on to another magical, cool feature is what we like to call smart theme. So you've created this design, but let's say you're like, okay, this is pretty cool, but I want to just make the style a bit different. And you can do this semi-automatically with Uizard. So let's go find a source of inspiration on Dribble, food delivery app. There's a lot to choose from here. This one's pretty cool. So you can actually go ahead and take a screenshot of this. And then inside of Uizard, you can say, I want to create a smart theme from an image. And then you can actually basically just drag and drop that image, that screenshot. And then here we'll have some AI go redesign your project to match this image. So in just a few seconds, you've seen that we've been basically entirely transformed the style and aesthetic and theme of our app. It took us like no time. And so that's pretty handy if you are to design something in Uizard. You started from Autodesigner and maybe the style was not quite what you thought of, and you could say, you know what, I would like this to look more like the product we've shipped last quarter. So you take a screenshot of your product or any source of inspiration, put it in there, and then the style is basically being extracted and applied. By the way, this feature is full disclosure, gonna get a lot of improvement in the next few months. So you should expect to see this improve even further. And if we go back inside of the Magic tab, you can also, something else I haven't shown you yet is the attention heat map. And that's basically enabling you as the designer to get some feedback on whether or not people are going to see your CTA, your buttons, your text. So whenever you hit the attention heat map button, Uizard is basically using AI to predict where in the screen are people, the viewer, going to focus their attention the most. So for example, here we can see that the title Space Food is getting a ton of attention compared to some of the other elements. And that's pretty handy because you can get some feedback even before showing this to a real human being on, whether the button here should be bigger, whether it should be different, and so on and so forth. So let's just go ahead and take another button, for example here, and we're gonna, maybe change this one. We're gonna say this is a button for place an order. And we're gonna reduce the illustration a bit because it's taking a lot of space. Actually, we're going to replace it. Let's just do some more drastic changes. I'm not sure this is supposed to be a fish. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a rocket ship. Let's just take this one. All right, we got our rocket ship. And then we can just hit the button again and see whether this changed the attention heat map. And of course it did. So now you can see that the button that we have placed here has a lot more attention than the one that was there in the first place. And you can also see that because we changed the illustration to something a bit more calm, simple, this title here also get more attention than it was getting before. So you get, this feedback before even showing this to your team, before showing this to your colleagues. So you can improve your design, on your own, at least to some extent. So this is what the heatmap feature does. We've seen the rest. We've seen Autodesigner. I've showed you how to use the interact mode, preview mode, how you would also go ahead and share this with your team. So hopefully this gives you a pretty good overview of what Autodesigner do and how you can use the rest of Uizard to customize and edit your work to basically turn your ideas into reality. So thanks for watching. If you haven't signed up to the Autodesigner list just yet, you can go ahead and do this now at uizard.io/Autodesigner. But if you did already sign up to the waitlist, you should expect to get your invitation to try out Autodesigner either today or in the next few weeks. So check out your mailbox from time to time. Thank you for watching and happy designing!